Hey, I'm Scott Lawlor, otherwise known as Pickles from Kind Yoga, and I'm here to go over a little bit of breath work for you and the benefits. So, breath work is, in yoga in itself, is set up on a tier of 8 rungs, and the asana practice, the movement, prepares you to just be still. And when you're still, you can get control of your breath. And your breath does a thing that is what other things cannot do, and that is to bring your autonomic nervous system into a balance, where your parasympathetic and your sympathetic, which are always here and here, in reaction, fight or flight, to everyday's challenges, it brings them to a harmony and balance. So I'll go over a few techniques with you that it can be helpful for you, from one for calming, one for stress relief, one for an energizing, and then one for a sense of joy. So first things first, you're going to lift and lengthen. So you'll sit always upright if you can, if this is available to you. If it's not available to you, you can lay down. So the very first pranayama I would explain to you is Vinaloma Analar Nadhi Sadhana. And this brings a typical balance, a true typical balance. So when I say typical in quotes, I'm just meaning an autonomic nervous response to challenge. So the very first thing you do is sit upright with your ears over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips. Leave your left hand on your knee and take the rigidity out of your body. Sit up straight but not rigid. Take your right hand up and turn the first 2 fingers to the palm in front of the thumb. Elongate the spine, close the right nostril with your right thumb, and you'll inhale through the left. You'll close and hold with the ring and index finger of the same hand. And you'll exhale through the right. Inhaling right nostril, close and hold. Open left and exhale slowly. Inhale left. Close and hold. Open right and release. Do that for 18 rounds or 5 minutes, whatever is available to you, as long as you want, until you feel that sense of calm. If in fact you get tingling in the fingers, relax, take some back in normal breaths where the cadence and impetus that is natural to you, and then try it again. That will drop your blood pressure. It'll take your shoulders away from your ears. I do it at the wheel because you can do it sometimes. And a breath work that is practical in everyday use is on the road. So as we drive down the road, you'll notice, and especially in summer traffic here on the Outer Banks, which can be a little congested, and if it rains, you know how that works here. So you'll notice that your hands get a tighter grip on the wheel. When they do, your shoulders will slowly creep up, and then you'll hold this hypertensive state in your upper back and your neck. Hypertension is a silent killer. You don't want to do it. Your blood pressure elevates. It's just going to get you old quick. So drop those shoulders and release the grip on the wheel until you can feel the texture of the wheel. I was taught this 30 years ago. This relaxation professor told me to feel the texture of my steering wheel. Actually feel if it's leather, synthetic leather, rubber, if it's hot, it's cold. And when you do, you loosen your grip. And as you do that, your shoulders drop back and away. And then your exhalation becomes longer than your inhalation, taking us to our next pranayama. And that's going to be Ujjayi pranayama. And that is a victorious breath in Sanskrit. And it's an inhalation through the nose of a gentle constriction in the back of the throat, and then a longer, deliberate exhalation, which is also Dirga pranayama. So we'll practice that. You can sit upright, hands down to ground, palms up to receive. Spine is straight, but again, not rigid. Release any unnecessary contraction, and then draw the breath across a gentle constriction. So I'm dragging the breath across the tonsils. A gentle pause at the breath. Exhale slow. Inhale through the nose. Pause and retain the breath. Here's a good time to be reflective, grateful. Maybe grateful, save the fact that you're just alive. Exhale super duper slow. I don't know if you could pick it up or not, but you could hear that breath. And when you could hear that breath, you are present. And it'll sound like gentle ocean waves. So do that again one more time. That's that. Now, that breath will kick an internal furnace on a little bit to create some heat. Another breath that we could be very practical in the summer here, especially on the Outer Banks, is Shiktali pranayama, and that is a cooling breath. So as you're overheated, tense, air conditioner breaks in the car, you're getting all funky, you could drag the breath. Now, genetically, some people this is not available to them, but if you can roll your tongue, you'll do so, and then you'll drag the breath through that hole in your tongue. If you cannot roll your tongue, you'll clench your teeth and drag it across your teeth till it feels cool. So Sitali Shiptali Pranayama is rolling out the tongue, sit upright again. Draw the breath in and draw the tongue in until it seals at the lips. Exhale through the nose. That's a cooling breath. So your Ujjayi will warm you up. Your Nadi Sadhana will keep you smooth. Your Shitali will cool you down. And then the very last one I'll teach you is a good old-fashioned adaptation of Bhastrika Pranayama. So that is where you drag the breath energetically through the nose, where you only release what you can through your mouth. So you're just releasing the breath. You're not forcing the breath out. So you're taking in more than you're exhaling. You do that in a muscular way by creating the diaphragmatic humps to squeeze and bellow your breath. So it goes in through the nose. Upwards of 30 to 40 times. You can do this laying down as well. And when you bring in the 30th breath, you exhale completely, holding the breath, retaining at the bottom. Now you're at a fully oxygenated blood flow now. Your blood supply is oxygenated fully. You're on the alkaline side of pH. So you're at a nice little harmonic balance. And then as soon as that breath, when you no longer can take hold in that breath anymore, you draw an energetic breath into the nose. And then you hold that for a count of 12 or 15. And then you let it go. And you can repeat that 2 or 3 times. All right, that being said, that is just an introduction to breath control, or what I call pranayama in Sanskrit. That is controlling of the breath to bring cessations to the fluctuations of a busy mind. So don't take for granted your breath. Don't. Each and every one of them comes. They're little respiratory miracles. And if you've ever heard anyone labor for one, you won't take for granted yours. So for your next breath, listen to it. Retain it at the top. Be conscious and grateful that you saved the fact you're just alive here today. Exhale it with gratitude and compassion and kindness, for kindness begets kindness. And I think you're all right. Thank you very much for being a part of my day. Namaste.